With the sizzling days of summer upon us, Angelinos are busy packing their cars and forming long lines of traffic on the 405 as they head to the beach. But there's a better way to beat the heat and still get your feet wet. Hi, I'm William Gilmore for HikeLosAngeles.com, and today we're going to trek to not one, but two different waterfalls and take in a little Southern California history along the way. So ditch the beach, Los Angeles, and take a hike with me to historic Switzer Falls. In the 1800s, taking a hike in the woods for fun was considered a folly, a fool's errand. It simply wasn't done. But with the dawn of the great hiking era, city dwellers began flocking to the wilderness areas to experience the therapeutic effects of the great outdoors. Savvy entrepreneurs were quick to offer their services to these newly discovered naturists, and one such businessman was Commodore Perry Switzer, who constructed a rustic resort in the San Gabriel Mountains around a pair of waterfalls 10 miles north of Altadena. Though the camp has long since vanished, the waterfalls still bear the Switzer family name. The trail to Switzer Falls begins in the Switzer picnic area, on the footbridge crossing the Arroyo Seco, and follows the Gabrielino Trail for just over a mile through a lush riparian landscape along the banks of the Arroyo Seco. Along the way are quiet glades sheltered by a high overhanging canopy of oak, sycamore, and alder trees, with monkey bush and other flowering shrubs dotting the landscape. The surrounding area was severely burned in the 2009 station fire, but the babbling waters of the Arroyo Seco provided a natural deterrent to the encroaching flames and preserved this beautiful habitat. While man has long sought to tame this wilderness, evidence of his presence is scant, with only a few rock walls or retaining features along the riverbank remaining. The trail descends on a gentle grade and switches back and forth between riverbanks, necessitating the occasional creek fording. The Arroyo Seco is not much more than a stream at this point, and most fords can be accomplished by simply stepping over the river. Following heavy rains, however, the river can become wider and a bit deeper, and you may need to carefully boulder hop the stream. At just over a mile, you will reach the site of Switzer's camp, with the falls located just downstream. Now, the Commodore never found the success he hoped for with his resort, and in 1912 sold it to Lloyd Austin, who renamed the resort Switer-land. Where Switzer had failed, Austin found success, and the resort became one of the most popular in the region, with guests arriving from all across the U.S. The Switer-land resort featured an open-air dance floor, cabins, a tennis court, and a library, and of course, the falls. Austin and his wife Bertha remained here until his retirement in 1936, and the camp was closed. As the buildings fell into disrepair, the U.S. Forest Service declared the site a safety hazard and razed all the buildings, including the beautiful Christ Chapel, located on a pinnacle 200 feet above the falls. Now, not much remains of the camp today, except for some old wood-burning stoves scattered about the canyon floor, and the demolished arches of Christ Chapel. From the campsite, a spur trail takes adventurous hikers 200 feet up to the side of the chapel, where the broken arches lay scattered beneath the sanctuary's foundations. So I'm standing here among the ruins of Christ's Chapel, about 200 feet above Switzer Falls. Now, the trail up to the ruins here, it's not much of a trail, I have to say. It goes in and out of the foliage, it's not well delineated, it branches off in a number of different directions, it's easy to lose track of where you are, and at times it gets treacherously steep, particularly if you get off the main trail, and it's kind of hard to tell what the main trail is. There's a lot of backsliding, a lot of rocks that you're having to reach up on, and you have no idea what's up there on those rocks. Could be a snake basking in the sun. So I would say I would forego this portion of the hike unless you're feeling really adventurous. And I have to say, although the views from up here are quite nice, they're pretty much the same views you have on the main trail on the other side of the canyon. So unless you want to get up close and personal with the ruins here, I'd say just look at them from across the canyon. Anyway, let's head back to the main trail and head on up to Trail Junction 1 and make our way to the falls.
Before leaving Switzer's campsite, you may want to check out a second spur trail on the opposite bank of the Arroyo Seco that follows the river to the top of the Upper Falls. It can be dangerous crawling around this precipice, and extreme caution is urged for those who attempt it. To continue to the base of the falls, take the small set of switchbacks opposite the campsite and ascend the Gabrielino Trail for about a quarter of a mile to Trail Junction 1. As the canyon floor falls away, the riparian environment changes to the more ubiquitous California chaparral. And the views really open up with an expansive panorama of the interior San Gabriel Mountains. At about 1.3 miles, the Gabrielino Trail veers uphill to the right at Trail Junction 1, while the Switzer Trail descends to the left. You'll want to take the trail on your left and descend back toward the canyon floor. From Trail Junction 1, the path narrows and becomes a rocky, rugged single track that returns you to the Arroyo Seco at Trail Junction 2. At this junction, the trail splits again, with one trail turning right and descending into Bear Canyon, and the other turning left and following the river upstream for 1/10 of a mile to the base of Lower Switzer Falls. Now, the sign says the trail is not maintained, but there's enough foot traffic to the falls and such a short distance to go that the trail is actually quite easy to follow. The lower falls are actually a two-tiered cascade that spills into a sandy basin, and during wetter weather, this basin fills with water and creates a shallow wading pool perfect for cooling your feet after your hike.
Even without the wading pool, these falls are an enchanting sight, and you're definitely going to want to spend some time here and really enjoy this idyllic spot. But these aren't the only falls in the neighborhood. Just upstream is a taller 50-foot fall, the Upper Switzer Falls.
To reach the Upper Falls, look for a spur trail to the right of the Lower Falls. It's a bit of a scramble around the Lower Falls, but once you make it above the cataract, it's an easy quarter-mile hike to Upper Switzer Falls. Like the lower falls, the spill basin here will fill with water and makes a delightful swimming hole during wetter seasons. Unfortunately, with our ongoing drought, we are left with only a sandy beach.
Now, whether the pools are filled or not, the falls run pretty much year-round and are an impressive sight themselves, no matter what time of year you come. And a trek to Switzer Falls is always an enchanted journey to one of Los Angeles' hidden treasures. Until next time, I'm William Gilmore, asking you to take a hike, Los Angeles, right here on HikeLosAngeles.com.